All right. Hey, so I got a couple of requests from people wanting to know how I redid my combination lamps for my Prelude. I mean, or just any combination lamp or any headlight, as long as it's a plastic kind. Just how to polish them and shine them up. Just put some more life back into them. It's pretty easy. It's just all it takes is a little bit of elbow grease, not too many items. You can get them locally at a hardware store, AutoZone, things like that. There's a fast way to do this, and then there's like a much longer way to do this that requires a lot more sandpaper grades. We're actually going to just be going through about four grades, and then we're going to be doing a little bit of some finishing that just kind of makes it pop a little bit more. So here we go. What I like to do for this job, first things first, if you've got like shop rags, that's great. A couple of shop rags are really good to have around. Just helps you clean up. If you also have, you know, let's say if you're doing this like right now, I'm doing this in my dining room. If you have something that you could just lay down, that's like, it could be like particle board or something, so you're not gonna affect your nice table, because I actually don't have a garage. So, but yeah, so shop rags, great. Second, I like to use water-based degreaser. I really like this one. You spray it on, you keep it on for 15 seconds, done. You can get a, these are some ones I have, which we're gonna be using, the Variety 3M wet sand papers. You're gonna definitely need these. Let's say if your lens is cracked and separated from the base, you know, it's good to have different epoxies, you know, so gel epoxy. This one is the 1 minute clear, and this is the black plastic welder. One thing I'll tell you about the 1 minute is this stuff dries really fast. So as soon as you have these two components mixed and it's activated and you mix it up, it becomes a uniform color. It's like you need to get straight to work. Final touches. For the final touches, I like to use just a little bit of WD-40. A lot of people are against using this stuff. I'm actually okay with it. Just a little bit, it's fine, just a little bit. I like to have some kind of like, I mean, you can have a water bottle. This is just like, this is filled with water. And of course, I like to have just a couple of plastic cups. And if you have something to just kind of clean up your area every so often, I mean, shop rags, that's cool too. But if you need to like sweep off the area and stuff like that, or even just like scrub into an area, just having like a little brush or something like that. This one's in a little clog. My wife and I got this in Amsterdam. We had a great time. So yeah, first things first, what we're gonna do is, what I like to do is I like to take the lens, and before we get to wet sanding this and all that, I like to clean it to just get any like gunk off of it. So I just take this bad boy and hit it with my degreaser. That's empty. We should probably get another degreaser. Always have some extra degreaser handy. Alrighty, so what I like to do with this stuff is essentially just take it. I mean, if your lens is like the one I'm, and by the way, once again, so this is a 3rd gen Prelude lens. These things are hard to come by. So this is the second set. I mean, I essentially like Like I have this one that I have to rebuild, but this one actually would just be an extra one that I have because my driver's side lens is actually fine. It's my passenger side one that's in really bad shape. So this is the replacement one, and you can see it has a little crack there, but you know, hey, it is what it is. It's a 31-year-old car. I mean, you can't find these things anymore. So anyway, what I like to do is, oh, by the way, maybe put some gloves on so you don't get this stuff on you. That's another thing. If you have shop gloves, that's cool. Like mechanics gloves. If you got latex gloves, that's cool too. I actually would prefer to be using latex gloves right now because like I'm gonna be using a little bit of water, but later, but that's okay. All right. The doctor's in. So, degreaser, and you can just coat. Just coat it. I mean, you don't have to get too crazy with this, but I like to just like clean it all off first so you're not getting like a bunch of stuff on it. And yeah, so no, like the instructions on the stuff say 15 seconds. You can wait 15 seconds, you can wait longer. I mean, I've never had an issue with it. In my case, it's a great opportunity to have a beer. This should have probably been like on that list. You know, every so often, enjoy a little beer, nothing wrong with it. Also, this is like a not too high ABV beer, so you don't have to worry about like being wasted by the end of this. But yeah, so we have the lens, and then you can just give it a wipe. One thing I will say to you, and I found this out actually recently, if you are using shop rags and like in this case, this is a red one, and you happen to be using like degreaser and things like that, sometimes the dye will come out of these, and if you're not paying attention, you'll stain your clothes. I mean, you shouldn't be wearing nice stuff. Like you shouldn't be in like your Sunday's Finest to do stuff like this. But you know, the dye can come off, you can stain stuff, you can stain the tabletop. I mean, obviously, if you have a garage, like this doesn't apply to you. This is like, you know, this is like for us peasants who have to do this stuff indoors. But yeah, you give it a wipe. Not bad. Alrighty. So, when it comes to sandpaper, what you want to do is you want to start with the lower number. I like to just give it a little tear. I've got 80 over here. And I like to, let's also set up our cup. And the reason why I like to have two cups is you keep one cup empty, so when this water starts to get like a little murky and dirty, you can just pour some of that dirty water out into the empty cup and then just put some clean water in there. Just to like, or completely dump the whole thing out and put clean water in there, just so you're not like rubbing like just dirty, sanded plastic water on what you're doing. But I mean, it's just that, I mean, that's just the way I've been doing it. You know, it's just a suggestion. All right, so. .80 grit. We're gonna take this, we're gonna dip it in some water. This water's still nice and warm, right? And then what you wanna do is you just wanna start sanding it in circles. You could probably do this, actually not probably, you can absolutely do this so much faster with a power drill and just a little attachment, sand pads, or a headlight restoration kit. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, you can do that. I just like to use my hands. I think it's great when you can look at something and see that you did it with your hands, and there's a lot of pride in what you did, and you just, you appreciate it just a little bit more. I mean, some things, hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using tools, but it's a good feeling when you can say, hey, I put some time into that, and hey, it's not like I have anything pressing right now, so yeah. $180. Whew. Onward. Also too, I'm using this in small circles. I like to imagine that you're going like let's say if you're going counterclockwise. So you're going like small circle, small circle, small circle, small circle, small circle, and then you can start back, small circle, small circle, small circle, small circle. And imagine that as like a bunch of lines, you're going all the way down. And then when I get to the bottom, I then go in the opposite direction. So then I clockwise. And then when I'm done with that, I like to go up, down, up, down, up, down. And then sometimes I'll do then just like another round, like straight across. I mean, as long as you're getting it all around, you're like buffing it out. This is like my 4th time doing this. And I just really like the results. Results are great. And it's just a really great way to breathe life into the headlights. I mean, like when it comes to headlights that are like, especially for Preludes, like, so, my Prelude's 31 years old. It's hard to find parts for it. I mean, the chances of you finding like a mint one, like a mint are rare. I mean, there are some out there. I mean, they cost a pretty penny. They do cost a pretty penny. Hey, if you get one from, someone who maybe they're the 2nd or 3rd owner, or maybe even like a junked out one, and you just put the work into it, I mean, just make it your own. I mean, like, I don't race cars or anything like that. I just always liked the Prelude. I thought it was a rad car. When I was a kid, I'd see it with the lights, and I was always like, whoa, that's a cool car. I just, there's something about like pop-up lights and just the whole shape of it and the lines of it. It's really cool. And when I finally got one, it was pretty rad, yeah. $400. Ooh. And you'll start to notice that as you're going higher and higher through the grit, like it does start to get clearer and like smoother. And you can always kind of like preview it. You can just wet your wet one of your rags, give it a wipe. And you can kind of already see, mind you, that was only 400 we're up to. We only got a couple more grades to go. And you can see it's already starting to get like a luster to it, which is pretty cool. And that's only gonna get shinier when we throw on a little bit of WD-40, but also I like to use just a little bit of toothpaste too, and I'll show you that. $1,500. Huge difference so far. We're not even done yet. That's a huge difference. That's nice. Time for the clog. So, what I like to do is squirt some toothpaste. You can normally I use a paper plate for this, but I don't know where that thing even went. So I squirt some toothpaste into a shop rag. I'm using like some Colgate, like the one I use in a shop rag. You know, you can use your hand for this if you want. I mean, if you don't want it to get really mucky with your gloves and stuff, you can use a brush to just distribute this. And essentially, you can get it on there. And then actually, I mean, the same way I guess you'd brush your teeth, you can just kind of scrub it on in there. Now, from what I understand, why this works is because the toothpaste kind of like fills in like little imperfections, but because we already sanded, we've already smoothed out a lot of those imperfections. But I mean, there still is some. I mean, we stopped at 1,500. We didn't go up to like 3,000, which I've done it that way before, and it takes much longer. The results are great, but like this is like, you know, this is the speedy way. Yeah, and you can just, right, so if you got a little bit of moisture or water still on a rag, or you can just wet the end of a rag, you can just kind of like put a little bit of water on that. Just a little. And just water it down. Water it down a little bit. Move it on in there. And then dry rag. You can wipe that off. You can also, I mean, you can buff it while you're doing it, or you just wipe it. I mean, now you might notice when you wipe it off, it might start to thicken up a little bit on the lens where you're trying to buff it off. Then just use a little bit more water and then dry that. Because you're not trying to take all the toothpaste off it. You still want that toothpaste to kind of fill in to those little like, it's like little microscopic areas. Those little cracks and crevices, things like that that are in there. And when it starts to feel smooth, on the smooth side, which that's looking pretty damn good. Our good friend WD-40. So you don't want to overdo it with this stuff. Just a spritz, like literally, I just like, check it out. Just like, we're gonna go 1, oops, 2, 3. Like that was already too much. That was too much. Too much shrimp on the barbie. Dry side. Just buff that on in there. You want to make sure that you're getting the, like you're not seeing any streaks though, which kind of streak free. And if you want just, you can use just a little, that's a brand new can, so it's like, it kind of overdoes it a little bit. I like when the can's like medium filled, gives you some time. And there we have it. Polished signal lens, looking pretty good. I mean, it could have some paparazzi. But yeah, that's a lot better than what we started with. So yeah, that's how it's done. You know, give it a shot. And yeah, happy modding. There we have it. Clean lenses. Clean lenses. Eventually they'll be updated to the LEDs, like the headlights are. But yeah, huge difference.